This is the plaintiff, Deborah Alter. She says the defendant's workers carelessly threw debris from the roof of the building they were working on and dented the hood of her car. There was no safety scaffolding, no nets, nothing. The defendant refuses to compensate her for the damages caused by his neglectful workers, and she's not going to be pushed around by anyone. She's suing for $1,356.47, the amount owed. This is the defendant, Joseph Vole. He says the plaintiff's claiming something fell off the roof of one of his buildings, but she didn't get out of the car at the time of the so-called incident. She drove away. 2 weeks later, she calls him with his bogus tale of woe, demanding he give her $1,100. This woman never filed a police report, never reported the damage at the time of the incident, and for all he knows, a tree could have damaged her car. He's accused of causing vehicular damages.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's crew threw debris from the roof of a building and damaged her car. But the defendant says the plaintiff is making it up. It's the case of, like McCarr says, don't give me any garbage.
Deborah Alter?
Yes.
You are suing Worldwide Properties, LLC, and Trumbull Company, represented here by Joseph Vole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. For $1,356.47, $250 of it time from work for trying to get your money, and the rest of it for repairs to your car, because according to you, their negligence caused damage to your car. Tell me what happened.
So I went to the building at County Management Services in Trumbull to pay my common charges maintenance fee.
Does he own that property?
Yes.
I'm confused.
Yes,
What
he
is
does.
it called?
It's called County Management Services.
And are they a government agency?
A property management firm that manages the condominium complex I believe she lives in, Your Honor.
Okay.
I paid it on that day, on June 12th. I decided to hand deliver it, left the facility, went back into my car.
And you were starting to tell me that you had just come from a funeral?
Yeah, I had just come from a funeral. The only reason that's relevant is because I was pretty upset. However, being in the neighborhood,
funeral?
It was a close friend's daughter who was found dead in the house. It was pretty upsetting, and they do think that it was foul play.
Oh, okay. I'm very sorry. So, okay, go on.
So I was not in a great frame of mind, but within proximity of County Management Services where it was, I went to pay my common charges and left. Got back in my car, and all of a sudden I hear a loud bang, and the car shook, and I screamed. I then looked up, and that's when I noticed men working on the roof. Got out of the car, quickly looked around, didn't notice anything initially. I continued on my way, but puzzled why I'd heard this loud noise. And initially, as I said, didn't notice anything. I then went to my next stop, which was within minutes, went to a friend's house, pulled into her house, and she said, "What the hell happened to your car?" And we both looked at it. It was then that I noticed and observed significant damage to the hood of the car by the passenger side.
May I see the damage?
It's in here. Thank you. It looked like dents and scratches.
This is what you're talking about, right?
Yes, on the passenger side. This is a 2012
Passenger
Honda.
front?
Yeah.
If you heard a crashing sound that shook your car and you screamed, how did you not notice this?
Your Honor, that's a good question. I didn't notice it because of my frame of mind, having come from a funeral.
Well, then how do you know it happened there?
Because I made no other stops. I went within minutes of the accident.
Okay, so what did you do then? Did you drive back to the location and go and see the management people?
As soon as I noticed it, I called County Management Services and reported it.
Do you have a record of that phone call?
Yes. First 2 pages, sir.
Do you have a statement from your friend? Is that your friend with you?
No, I don't have a statement from my friend, Your Honor.
The one who you say noticed it?
Yes, we both noticed it.
You don't have a statement from her?
I do not have a statement from her.
Is this person moral support or a witness?
She is my daughter, and she is moral support.
Okay.
I immediately...
Did you call the police?
No, Your Honor, I did not call the police. I called County Management Services. They said that, yes, there were men working on the roof. I needed to contact the owner, their landlord, who would be responsible. I call Worldwide Properties that same day on June 12th. I get the answering service. This was about 5:30. It's in the log. I called them and got the service, didn't leave a message, called them again later that day, left a message with the service. I finally got a return call on June 13th from a girl named Sheila, identifying herself as someone from Worldwide Properties, stating on June 13th that she had spoken with Joe Vall, and he said to please fax an estimate of the damages.
So you did? And the estimate that you faxed them was for $1,300?
Yeah.
Or $1,100?
Yeah.
You were inside the car when it happened?
Yes.
And you felt the car shake and you didn't see? I mean, do you understand the problem kind of with the story, right? You understand what my concern is, right?
I felt the car shake. Under normal circumstances, there's no way I would have missed the damage at the time. It was a close friend of mine whose daughter had died. My frame of
I don't
mind
need
was
you to
such
repeat
that-
yourself. I just, like,
understand.
that doesn't mean, I understand what you were saying. It just makes me look closer at what you're saying.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah,
Let me
I do.
hear from you. Go ahead.
What had happened was she had called into the office at a copy of a log that she did call in on June 13th. And I believe
Now, you had said in your answer to the complaint that she called 2 weeks later. That's not accurate, right?
That's not accurate. Not call it 2 weeks. That's when we finally got a meeting.
That's very different. She
Right.
called to complain of the damage 2 weeks later implies that you hear nothing for 2 weeks, which is way better for you in terms of how.
we had.
Okay, so you hear something right away. All right, so go
we
on.
had a call into. I checked the logs. We had a log in from June 13th, and we finally made contact with her on the 20-something of June. I had spoken to her, and I asked her. I said, "Listen, Deborah, what happened? Can you please explain to me what happened?" So
Did you have guys doing roof work?
No, because the roof was done several years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, the roof on a building.
Was there anybody working on the property at all?
Not on that date that we checked.
What about on the next date or the day before or the 2 days later or the 2 days
There
before?
could have been somebody working there a couple weeks later, like a week and a half or 2 weeks later.
But after everything.
After everything. What had happened was I said, listen, you got to understand. She explained to me that something fell on her car. She's not telling the truth. She told me, I said, well, if something fell on your car, did you get out of your car? She said, no, I never got out of my car. That's what she told me. So she never got out of the car. I said, okay, you didn't get out of the car. So you're telling me you want me to believe that something fell on your car. You didn't get out of your car in a good area. It's not a dangerous area. It's a very nice suburban area in the country. In Trumbull, you were paying your common charges, okay? Did you fill out an incident report with any of the tenants? There's psychologists on the first floor, there's accountants on the first floor, real estate office, travel agency.
Well, you can't file an incident report with the psychologist who rents from you.
No, but she would have reported it to somebody. She did no report.
She would have reported the police or the management office itself or something, right?
I got out of the car.
So she said
Your
she
Honor.
never got out of the car.
That's a lie.
She said
I don't care whether you got out or not. I care whether you reported it. Go ahead.
I reported it that day.
So, is this a little suspicious on her part? That she drives away after she says she heard the debris hit the car and never complained?
It's very suspicious. You have to be able to see it actually happen.
But even if you don't see it, if you heard it, would you get out of the car and look?
Definitely. Otherwise, anyone can make such a claim.
And it may be what? I mean, what do you think is behind all of this?
It sounds suspicious. So maybe the damages were caused before or after the incident. And
Aha! I think you solved this one going inside the courtroom.
Do you have any proof that there were people working on the building that day? And that there was a dumpster next to you?
There was a dumpster to the
No, I don't
right.
want to hear you flap your gums. I asked for proof.
Well, what I have is a permit that was obtained from the building department, a copy of which reads, replacing the rotted siding on the building.
Let me see
Long
that.
Hill of Trumbull.
Right, but that.
However, it's
Yeah,
dated
wait,
June
let me
the
see it. Let me see it. However, what? Go ahead.
It's dated June the 20th.
Right.
And I don't understand how is it that I was there on the 12th witnessing
probably
work on
because
the
you
roof.
found out later they were doing roof work and that's why you're suing.
Actually, Your Honor,
So what are you suggesting? That even though the thing you pulled says that there's an issue date of June 20th for whatever work, and that's what he was saying, that there was work being done weeks later, you're saying that he did the work. Somebody who does pull a permit did the work first and pulled a permit later.
I say he had his grunts do the work first, and on the 20th, in retrospect, they obtained.
Why are they grunts?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
I think his workers might be a little offended by that.
I'm sorry. I don't mean
It's
that.
honest work.
Jeez. What's
All right,
frustrating? It's frustrating to me that I witnessed people working on the roof.
See, here's the thing, and it could very well have been their fault, but you have to come into a court of law and prove that it was their fault. And when you act like nothing happened, and then ask me to believe something happened at that moment and you're positive, even though you're acting like you're not positive, because you get out of the car, according to you, you look around the car and you see nothing, even though there's this big dent in the front of your car, and then you add to that the fact that work appears, according to the county, to have started several weeks after that.
I told him from the very
What am I
beginning.
supposed to do?
I noticed it almost immediately. I did not notice it at the site, but shortly thereafter, when I went to my friend's house, we both noticed
That's right.
it.
So you could bring me your friend, right? Where are you local? Where are we talking about? Where are you from, honey?
I live not too far.
Oh,
Shelton.
very close to me. So your friend could be here and testify. Yes, it was seconds later she came and she told me she had just been, but I got none of that, right?
She's
I have
working
none
too.
of that. I don't even have an affidavit from your friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I find that there's insufficient proof in this case and I rule in favor of the defendant.
Well, unfortunately for the plaintiff, lack of evidence leads to a decision against you. So step in and what's your first thought about this?
Well, I'm very frustrated because there were no witnesses other than myself, and I actually thought it was an open and shut case.
Do you wish you had brought your friend in here?
Absolutely, yes. I think
might have been a good idea,
Would have
huh?
made all the difference in the world. Yes, I'm
That's too bad.
frustrated. And lesson learned.
All right. You head right down there with Officer McIntosh, okay, please? And all right, so you step in here and put yourself in her shoes. What do you think happened here?
I think the judge made the right decision based on the facts. We tried to find any information that tried to help the lady. I had a witness ready to prepared to say she never got out of her car. That's not the information she gave me or the girl at the
You really
officer.
think she was trying to pin some
I
damage
think
on you?
She told me when I spoke to her that she didn't have insurance or high deductible. Today, everybody's trying to get coverage when they don't have it.
Okay.
And they figured the deep pockets because the building owner possibly
All right,
get coverage.
over to Harvey.
This is the case with car washes or anything else. If you hear something or you see something or you believe your car is damaged and you drive away, I'm telling you, you're going to have a mighty hard time proving your case. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.